All right. Hi everyone. So I want to apologize. We thought we were live, but there was some technical difficulties on my end. I'm so sorry. But we figured it out. Now we're live. And so we're just gonna do a quick recap of
Sure.
the what we were just talking about. So that's why everybody gets to hear the things that we asked you. So again, I'm Miriam Cummins. Hosting this interview with Tobias. Thank you so much, Tobias. Again, I
Pleasure.
apologize. I thought
No,
we were like good rhythm going on there, and then
we can
it wasn't
reestablish.
live.
Now everybody gets to come into the conversation. We're comfortable. We know each other. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I'm currently running for state representative for House District 15, which is Albany, Millersburg, and Tangent in North Albany, which is part of Benton County. But here with me, I have Tobias Reed, who is our current treasurer and who is running for re-election. And so I would like you to introduce yourself. And again, I apologize for the late difficulty that was happening. So please, the floor is yours.
Well, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity to talk with you and the people you're seeking to represent. These are really important conversations in times like this. And there's not a lot that's good about COVID, but one positive is that it's a lot easier to click around the state than it is to drive around the state. So I'll hold on to those little silver linings in the midst, and being able to talk with you is certainly a nice treat at the end of a night when we saw a lot of tension in the presidential debate,
Yes.
and I'm looking forward to the conversation tonight in a more relaxed and thoughtful sort of environment. So
Yes.
I really love this job. I'm privileged to have done since 2017, and I hope to continue doing, because it gives me the chance to think about and act for the long run interests of Oregon. We're the bank for the state, for a lot of local governments. We're the investment shop for those same entities, and we're a financial hub for Oregonians, because we have a really exciting and effective suite of financial empowerment tools and programs, ranging from college savings programs to retirement savings programs, and a really effective program for people who are living with disabilities. So we're at the center of Oregon's financial life, and as I said, that's in an environment where so much is dominated by short-term thinking and grandstanding. We have not only the opportunity but the responsibility to really look out well into the future and try and act on behalf of the state and the people who live here.
Yeah, no, and I think this is something that, and I apologize again. I'm gonna probably be saying that all night, so I'm so sorry. I'm a Latina. We apologize for everything. One of the things that I asked you earlier, that maybe now that we're live, we can have it answered, is what is it that you do? Again, I was 15 minutes, 20 minutes ago when I asked you this question, I didn't know much, but now if you could recap, like, what is it that you do?
I'm happy to do that, but you know what might be fun is we could switch roles. I could ask you, and you could say what the Treasury does, and we could test how well we did on the last one. But um,
Oh,
we'll
you're
put
gonna
that.
quiz me? Okay, I
No, no,
can. I'm gonna.
we sometimes we're I think accused of being the tax collectors or the
Mm,
administrators of the state budget. That's not what we do. We really protect public money and hopefully grow it until it's used for its intended purpose. So we're investing the state's portfolio, which includes the pension fund, includes the short-term fund, that's sort of like the money market for state agencies and
mhm,
local governments. We enable infrastructure around the state, roads and bridges, affordable housing, those sorts of things, because we sell and manage all the debt, the bonds that the state uses to do that sort of construction. And we're really making sure that money that's collected and then managed in a way that hopefully grows and then goes quickly to its intended purpose. So right at the center of every dollar and penny that's moving throughout the state in public hands.
Yeah, because I remember when we were talking earlier that you mentioned that it was like a bank.
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, so when it came to working, as a legislature, how would that play into the role, right? So a bill gets passed, we say X amount of money is going towards affordable housing or other program. So you're the bank, right? So how does money, I guess, would move around?
So if a state agency, the Department of Revenue is the tax
Mm-hmm.
collector, so they would receive money from taxpayers.
Okay.
They'd give that to Treasury, and we manage that until it needs to go to the let's say the Department of Education,
Okay.
so that it then is distributed to school districts around the state. So we do billions and billions and billions of dollars of transactions every year. So you think about the $8 billion plus every 2 years that goes to the state school fund.
Mm-hmm.
A dollar would be paid by a property tax by a property owner to their county. I'm making this up as we go, but we'll follow this dollar for a moment. So a homeowner pays it to their county. The county is going to receive a lot of their property taxes in one shot, one confined period of time, but they're going to use those dollars over the course of the year, and they have a real advantage if they put those dollars into what we call the local government investment pool as part of our short-term fund. So they'll send the dollar to us because they're going to invest it, and they get a better return because they're part of a big pool with lots of other local governments and state agencies. We're going to invest that money on their behalf. It's still their dollar, and they can get it back anytime they want. But by putting in the short-term fund, they'll get better returns with the same kind of protection and liquidity. And they might then, because it's a portion of county collected property taxes, then go to education, to public education in that district. We might end up not sending that dollar back to the county, but instead to the school district that's designated. And we do that when it's called, and then the school district would be able to pay a teacher with it, or deal with another sort of expense of the school district. So we really do play an important role in keeping the wheels of the economy rolling in lots of different ways throughout the state. And in that sense, every Oregonian has a stake in our success, because the dollar that we earn from investment returns is a dollar that doesn't have to come from somewhere else in the budget or from taxpayers.
Wow. See, because when you said investments, all I could think was Wall Street, and when you said, return on investment, and I'm thinking 401k. I'm trying to use these, what I know of, and kind of have it a comparison. Again, because I'm also learning about, your role and what you do, and many of our residents and constituents here want to know more about that too. How does that work?
Yeah, there is a decent comparison to that, because when individuals are saving for their retirement through a 401k, they're likely invested in some various forms of mutual funds, which are really a collection of stocks and bonds. And in that sense, that's what we're doing as the state. We're investing in lots of different things. But it's not just stocks and bonds, as we talked about earlier. It can be natural resources, it can be infrastructure, it can be public and private markets activities. But we're a large investor, and one that has a really long time frame, because we're investing on behalf of the state, current and future retirees. So we get to do and have to do really sophisticated and long range strategies as well.
Oh, perfect. And so now that, we know what you do now, all right? Now, understanding. And I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. It might get a little hard, but
Do my best.
I'm gonna quiz you. So one of the questions that I have here is, because House District 15 is considered rural, we're a rural district. And so a lot of our, community members here do not know about a college savings or any other, type of retirement. So the question is, what are some of the issues or disparities that you see the rural communities are facing or seeing when it comes to your candidacy, and how do you plan to address them?
Well, one thing that I think is really important is making sure that people throughout the state, in every geographic and demographic corner, have access to the financial tools to achieve some security and some autonomy. College is obviously a big part of that. And I want to make sure that every Oregon kid has a clear message that we believe in them, that they are capable and worthy. And the college savings plan plays a big part of that, because any kid who has a college savings plan, no matter how much is in it, is 3 times as likely to go to college and 4 times as likely to graduate from college. So just about anything we can do to get people started on that is a big, big deal. So we went to the legislature in 2019, and changed the tax incentive from a tax deduction, which is just not that useful unless you're in that fortunate few who gets to itemize your tax deductions, to a refundable credit. It's like the political tax credit that some people are familiar with. It means that if you can put some dollars into a college savings plan, you'll get those dollars back in the form of a bigger tax refund or a smaller tax bill. It means that that's useful to people no matter what their income level is. So we made it progressive too. It's dollar for dollar for the lowest income Oregonians, and as a person's income goes up, the incentive goes down. This is especially important for people in rural parts of the state, because if you look at the historic usage of the college savings plan, it's dominated by urban folks. This gives us a tool to go out and talk to people in rural parts of the state and in other communities where we are not, we don't have an existing relationship. Now we put some of our own money into this as well, and this is a place where you and your constituents can really help us. If anyone opens an account for an Oregon-born baby before their first birthday, we'll put $25 in that account to get them started. Now, $25 probably doesn't sound like a lot, but it does amazing things. So we spent about $100,000 on these initial deposits. And in the year that followed those seed deposits, we saw follow-on contributions, get ready for this, of $12 million. So just getting people started is a huge deal, because nobody has bigger ambitions and bigger confidence in their kid than parents and people who care about them. And imagine this, if you get started there, then you have what we call the education savings credit that's up to $300 for joint filers. And here's the not so secret. If you can, whatever you can scrape together, you can put that in, you'll get it back, and you can put that in again, and then you'll get it back again, and keep rolling that along. It's not likely that very many people are going to be able to save the full cost of an education this way, but this is good at universities, community colleges, trade schools, apprenticeship programs. And even a few $1,000s, over the course of a young person's education is a few $1,000s someone doesn't have to borrow. And so compound interest is at your back, pushing you forward, not holding you back. That college savings is a really big deal. And you can stop me anytime you want, but I do want to mention retirement as well, because what we know is that half of people who work in Oregon, same number across the country, don't have access to a way to save for retirement at work. And if that doesn't change, they have to choose between retiring into poverty or not retiring at all. And that's no kind of choice. So a few years ago, it's one of the last pieces of legislation I worked on as a representative, we passed a bill that requires employers in Oregon, if they don't offer their own retirement plan, to facilitate what we call Oregon Saves. And what that means is they say to their employees, unless you tell me otherwise, 5% of your wages are going into your IRA, your individual retirement account. Now, the employee can opt out of that. They could say, no, I don't want to do it at all. They could say, I only want to do 2%. Or they could say, I want to do 10%. But it's flipped the script. And when so many things like this are complicated, when they seem like they're way off in the future, they're easy for people to take, to put off, to not do anything about it. But this flips that. And so 3 years into this program, we have 75,000 people in Oregon now who have established and funded a retirement savings account. They've saved $70 million. And that's not enough to retire on yet, but it's got people on a path. And because of the way we set these up, these accounts are also usable as an emergency savings account. Really important in a time like this. And more than all these numbers, the message I want to leave with you as a future legislator and others is the power that this has. We talk to people all the time who I suspect may feel isolated or disconnected in the financial aspect of their life. And they describe this experience with Oregon Saves where they say things like, I didn't know how to do this. I didn't feel like there was something for me. And then you can just watch their faces light up as they start to talk about Oregon Saves. And they say these magic words like, I feel like I got a future now. I can see a path for myself. And on top of the numbers, which of course I get excited about as a numbers guy, that's just so gratifying to think about people feeling like they are included and like they are part of the economy and part of the state. So these are things that are especially relevant for people in rural parts of the state, and they are a big passion for me as I look forward to a second term.
Yes, and one thing for sure that I wanted to address, and I think maybe this is something, because when I was first pregnant with my daughter, I wanted to have a college savings for her, but due to financial, getting a new job and just that change in aspect, we didn't put money into a savings plan. And she was born in 2012. So, that incentive and that outreach of, making it accessible to rural people, but also in an understanding way what it is, I think I would have more than likely tried if I had known more information about it. But the fact that I didn't, now I feel like, darn, we just missed out on that $25 for both of my kids.
Well, I have good news for you. So we had this great, and I appreciate you bringing this up because I was kind of foolish as I got off on retirement. We had such success with Baby Grad. That was the program I described around the first year, that we've extended it now to Kindergrad. So same deal for kindergartners who don't have an account.
See, and that's the other part that I missed out too, because my daughter's in second grade and my son's in first.
Well,
darn.
Well, it's still worth doing. That's the other clear message that people say, when's the right time to start saving? The answer was yesterday, but today is better than tomorrow. So whenever you can do it, it's a really wonderful thing.
And that's definitely something that I wish I could do right now, but because I'm unemployed and I don't have a job, we had to change things around.
But keep this in mind, and I recognize that, because you are not alone in that situation. The key and the power of the savings account is not the amount of dollars that's in it. It's the communication you have with your kids, and the fact that your kids know that account exists, know that you are making investments, whatever it is, into that, because that represents your confidence in them and your expectation that they have a future, that they will be doing something. And it doesn't have to be college either. I mean, we say this word, but we know there are lots and lots of routes to success and prosperity and happiness. Just about every one of them requires some kind of education or training beyond high school. So it doesn't matter what that is, but just to make sure that every kid in Oregon knows that we believe in them, that we expect them to do well, and we know they're capable of it. That's the key. It's not the amount at all.
Well, so and I think
feel empowered about that.
No, and I think that's great, and it would teach our children to be responsible and hold them accountable for their own education, because they now know, I have to do good at school. All right. So, but the other thing too that I was thinking was the information being in multiple languages, because I'm thinking about my communities, and I can relate and speak on behalf of the Latinx community here, and that information is not easily accessible, or it's not there when it comes to Latinx communities in rural areas.
It's in Spanish on our website, and we have printed versions as well. So we're happy to do that whenever we can. I want to make sure, if you're having trouble, let me get it.
I'm gonna seeing if I can pull it up here, because I know I wanted to kind of walk people through it, because I could not find the language option when I logged in.
OregonCollegeSavings.com.
So I'm right over there. So I can do.
You see on the left there.
So I'm gonna do
a screen share.
Yeah, that way people can follow along with us. I think that would help a lot. And let's see here. Okay, right there. Okay. So here I am.
Yep.
Right.
So right underneath that link that says open an account, there's información en español. Over on the left.
Oops. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. On the left.
Sorry, go back one. Go back one. Yep. Now see that on the left, down the bottom there, there's a big button there that says open an account.
Yes.
Over to the left. Keep going left. All the way to the left. Left. Keep going left.
I am going to the left. I'm at the corner.
There we go. Now down.
Okay.
Down.
Okay,
Yep, there you
here
go.
it
Right
is.
there. Yep.
Oh my, I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay, okay, información en español, perfect. Okay, so, okay, I'm trying to look here. Because you know you're accountable, Tobias,
Yeah.
on the information, okay?
Yep.
Because,
And my Spanish is not
um,
very good, so or it's very old.
yeah.
So
So like these icons here, like where it says the basic investment options or programs, all that information, it's not, it doesn't look like it gets translated when it goes into información en español. Would that be something? Because, you know, when people go in here, they see this information, but then they look at these options and it's in English and they want to know what it says. Is there
mhm,
a way to make sure that also gets translated
mhm, mhm.
along with everything?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's something we're continually working on,
Okay.
and yeah, we can. I'm sure we can improve that. So
Mm-hmm.
uh,
No, but this is great that you do have it in Spanish because I could not find it for the life of me, and it's because it was right there on green. It was blending in.
but
But this is.
that's a useful piece of
Mhm.
observation too. That you were looking for it specifically and didn't see it.
Mhm.
So I'll pass that along as well.
Okay. Yeah, but this is great that it has que es el Oregon College Savings Plan en términos sencillos, perfect, because, you know, we want to keep it, you know, concise, but also to the point on what it is.
Yeah,
And I will look right now that I was able to find it and how to navigate it. And now,
yeah,
you know, I can show people now how to, you
yeah.
know, go through it. But
And I'll tell you,
I just wanted to share on that.
yeah, and I'll tell you, we had a really great town hall with someone I know you're hoping to work with, Ricky Ruiz
Hmm.
in East
Yes.
County. He put together an event much like this, and I think he and I were probably the only
Hmm.
people on it who regularly speak English, and it
Hmm.
was great. We had 30 or 40 people who had not encountered the college savings plan before, and I think a lot
Hmm.
of them left excited. So I told Ricky we're going to go statewide with him when he's a legislator, and same offer
Yeah.
holds for you. I
Yeah, no, include me in.
well, I recognize that I am, in a lot of cases, not the right guy to be delivering this message. I don't need to be front and center. I'm happy to be your wing person and let you be the star because you're gonna know lots of people and lots of communities that I don't that need this information. So
Hmm.
whatever happens in 12 days, let's look for ways to deliver this message to the right people.
Yes, no, and thank you. And I will definitely pass this along, you know, and as well as you passing on the information that when we translate, because, you know, that was my previous job was I used to be an interpreter translator. So I really take things into like with a microscope. Okay.
Good.
And so when I see things that I was like, wait, why isn't this also translated?
Yep.
You know, and making sure that that also needs to be like I said, I'm hyper aware of those things, so
Sure.
I'm like nitpicking this, like, hey, you need this and this to be
Sure.
linked.
Sure.
And the same would go with my website. If you go on my website, you see I have an option for English and Spanish, and it's right there, straightforward.
Good.
Because being accessible with information is very important in
Yep.
the language. And so with that, let me see. I'm going through my list here. Now that we know about, you know, what you do, the Oregon Savings Plan, retirement, you did mention something about disability.
Yeah.
Would you be able to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one of the great things about
Mm-hmm.
this program is called ABLE. It's an acronym, Achieving a Better Life Experience. And a lot of people who are dealing with disabilities rely on benefit programs in the state or federal government, and many of them have an asset test limit associated with them. So if someone accumulates more than $2,000 of assets, their eligibility for that benefit program is jeopardized. It's pretty crazy to think about how you could try to navigate life, particularly as a person or a family dealing with a disability, and not have some cushion. And yet people are
Yeah.
sort of condemned or limited to stay in that spot in order to keep their benefits. Well, the ABLE program is the exception to that. So in an ABLE account, it's possible for a person to go beyond that $2,000 limit without jeopardizing their benefits. And it's very much like the college savings plan that we just went through. It has the
Yeah.
same tax benefits and growth and so on. But it's just aimed at disability. So anything that contributes to the quality of life for that person who has a disability, that's an acceptable expense. We have really excellent programs that allow a person to use a debit card for activities of daily living, as they say. And it's a very new program, just started at the end of 2016. So we're still really in that one-to-one sort of marketing effort to make sure that everybody who has a disability or a family member with a disability knows about the ABLE program and can use it as they like. So that's sort of the third element of what we refer to as the Oregon Savings Network.
And so with that, so in order to be eligible, do you have to have a like a disability with like how do you go? Like, do you have to get a doctor's note saying you have this disability and you have to bring in that documentation?
It's self-certified, but you have to, you'd have to do it in a way that you would be comfortable if you got audited. That's it's pretty it's a pretty on your honor sort of system. The one thing that is really definitive is that the disability has to have onset before the age of 26. And that's a significant hole in the program. It's because when it was created federally, that's what they decided they could afford in terms of budget impact. But there is a continual effort to increase that age to 44 to account for a lot of other things that could happen, ranging from people who have multiple sclerosis or ALS or someone who served in the military or a car accident or something. And I'm happy to say that every one of Oregon's congressional delegation is a co-sponsor of that legislation. So I don't think it's likely to move in the next several weeks as this goes, but there is increasing recognition that that's a problem. So hopefully we'll get that fixed, and been one of the national leaders on trying to get that change happen.
Because what I was thinking was, with a disability, it's not like it's going to go away.
No.
You're going to have it. So, and having a special needs child myself, I'm thinking, what's going to happen after, he's done with school? Is he going to, what kind of resources and help is he going to do? And that's why, again, I'm very focused on disability, because I do have a child with special needs, but I want to make sure that, if there's a cutoff on criteria that says, okay, these don't qualify, but these do. And so is there a website we can check for that? So
there
we can
is.
get,
OregonAbleSavings.com.
Oregon.
And I have not, I'm confessing now, I have not checked to see about our Spanish translation on that today.
Tobias.
Yes.
Okay, well, you better get on that. Put it on your to-do list, because I'm going to check back on it. I will.
I do.
Okay. No, okay, so this is good. It has eligibility, benefits. Yeah, so that website for everybody is OregonAbleSavings.com. I will also put it on the chat for those that would like to know more information. But no, thank you. I mean, that to me is a very important information for people that have children or someone that they know with a disability, that there's this type of resources. And so now that, again, we're going to shift gears a little bit due to time. And again, apologize. I said I'm going to be apologizing all night. So as you know, I myself, I'm a person of color. I'm a Latina. My pronouns are she, her, ella. And so as that, I'm running for a rural district. And so I'm wondering if you know of other rural BIPOC candidates that you know of, you support, that because I'm gonna hold you, Tobias, because I gotta tell you, I haven't received a lot of support.
Well, I'm here at 9:45 on a Thursday night, and I don't know if anybody else is here with you who does this.
7 people.
Any other statewide electeds come at this hour for you?
No, but the latest was like 8.
Okay. So I'll take a little credit for that.
Okay.
Listen, I will show up just about anywhere that someone asks me, but I also am really cognizant of the fact that I don't feel like I should say, look at me, I'm the one to show up and tell you how things are done. So
Mhm.
when you invited me, I said yes. And
Okay.
when I talked with Ricky Ruiz, I said, what can I
Mhm.
do to help you? And he said,
Mhm.
let's do this town hall. And I did. And
Mhm.
I will show up where I'm asked, but I don't want to be the person who is
Mhm.
presumptuous enough to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
When I ran for the legislature, it was a different district, a different
Mhm.
community, and it wasn't this year. So I can tell you what worked for me, but I don't want to be that guy who is presumptuous about it. So you tell me
No,
where you want me, I'll be there.
okay, good. Because I did email you, well, a couple times, and I never got a response. So I was really happy to that I got a response for this. So that's why I wanted to make sure, if you know of all the other candidates that are running, that are people of color, because I'm here, to also support them in any way I can. But I also would like to have your support. And reaching out to them, because let me tell you, a lot of us are not getting the support that people think we are, because they say we're not in a targeted race. So because of that, BIPOC is not. It's it's
Here,
it's being
here, here,
impacted.
here's what I know, and I don't know enough about this
Mm-hmm.
this year or this slate of races. But when I was in the legislature and when I was part of the House
Mm-hmm.
leadership team, the challenge was always, um, you know, look, we're Democrats and we're nice people, and so there were so many times when I was part of the conversation saying, but so and so is a good person, they're a good candidate, they'd be a great legislator, and I kept having to say, like, I agree with all of that, but we have to be
Mm-hmm.
cold-hearted here. We have to say, where is the person that's going to win? Because if we go spend money on the people we like, we're not going to win. And that's a really hard reality. So the other thing that we tried to do a lot of was to say, what are the resources and what are the places where we can be helpful to people who face that
Mm-hmm.
uphill battle? Where can we give them tools that they can apply themselves, that they can adapt to their specific community,
Mm-hmm.
their specific district, the situation, the issues that resonate in those districts, even if we don't have the money that we wish we could give them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably room to be better on that, but the reality is, we're probably never going to have all the money that we wish we could offer to every candidate based on their heart, their qualifications, their suitability for office.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important to separate those kinds of things, and that's why when I can tell you, I will
Mm-hmm.
show up for people whenever and wherever they want me, and whenever and wherever I can. That's actually a
Mm-hmm.
lot easier in the age of COVID, as we talked about already. I can click over almost
There
anything.
you go. You're here.
Yeah, yeah, and the real sacrifice for people tonight is our kids. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting to read with
Yeah.
them tonight.
I'm
That's
sorry.
no, don't apologize. I'm just telling
My
you.
kids are in bed. That's why I was like, hey, 9 o'clock, kids are in bed.
Yeah, we have a sixth grade daughter and a second grade son, so we're
Oh,
right at that stage now.
yeah.
Hopefully they're in bed. Hopefully when I go upstairs they will be. Usually about this time. Um, so I'm ready to give what I have, but in a lot of ways, I can identify to a certain extent, if this is not an
Mm-hmm.
inappropriate way to say it, with the feeling you have, because I'm running for treasurer. Most people don't know there is a treasurer. Most people don't know what the treasurer does. So I'm
That's why
constantly
we have
reminding
this.
people. I mean, everyone's talking about, look, there's the presidential race, there's the Secretary of State, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's another statewide elected office right now. In fact, I have a trivia question for you right now.
Oh, okay.
If Kate Brown resigned
Mm-hmm.
as governor right now,
Yes.
what would happen?
Well, one, it would be you, the next person. Reason why? Because Bev didn't get elected; she got appointed. So
Exactly.
you would be the next person in command.
That's right. That's right. And people don't know.
Oh,
Good work. Good work.
woo! I did my research.
Good work. Most people don't know that. And I only say that because it's another example. Like, this is an important office. And we've spent a lot of time in our campaign trying to remind people and to say they ought to care about this. And it's certainly not by any stretch the same set of challenges that you face as a rural candidate, as a person of color, or any of those sorts of things. But for different reasons, I can certainly sympathize with the frustration of saying, hey, I'm running a race here. I need some help. So
Yeah.
I'm ready to help however I can.
Well, and I appreciate that. I think what we want to hear, is having people like you stand up for us, because sometimes we're not given a place at the table. And so we need someone to be our ally, and to kind of fight for us when we are not given that opportunity. So that's why I think it's so important, like you said, if something happened to Kate Brown, you would be the next person up. So that's why,
It's
to
true
me,
for
it's
the
like
next
I
2 months, but then it goes
yeah,
back to work or two.
yeah,
Yeah,
but that's why it's like I'm gonna hold you accountable, because I think that's something that as Oregonians we need to do to our elected officials, and I that's something I want people to do with me as well, is to hold
yeah,
me accountable.
yeah.
And so I appreciate that you said that you are going to support and help us, and hopefully here in the future, in the next couple years or even next election, that we do a better way in helping candidates who are rural districts, who live and who identify as BIPOC, and kind of bridge and give those resources and support early on, and not so late in the game. So if that is something, who knows, whatever happens, I might run again, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna need that support again. So
yeah.
just knowing that there's someone that I can count on to make sure to advocate for us, because that's what I'm going to do for my district. I'm going to advocate for my district. But for you right now to think ahead and be like, okay, we need to do something. We already have disparities as a person of color, and then you add rural, and then you add women. So it's like for us, we go down and down and down more. So having someone there to help us get lifted, I think that's really what we want. And as Democrats, it's something that we can be proud of, to say that we are here to uplift each other.
Yes.
But let me tell you, I am not hearing or seeing that love. And it hurts, because for me, as I was really counting on that support, and that's why I'm very thankful that you were able to stay late with me and do this.
Yeah.
It does mean a lot, let me tell you, and my community is going to see that you are spending and you're sacrificing, like you say, your time to have this conversation with me.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. I hope
Yeah.
to do it again sometime. Someday we'll do it in person, uh,
Yes.
in somewhere in the district. And I
Oh
think,
my
I mean,
gosh.
actually, this is the one of the things I really miss about,
Hmm.
in the before times, when I could come knock on doors with you or something. That's how I really,
Hmm.
I'm sure you've had those experiences too. Those are the
Yes.
memorable pieces of campaigns. It's where how I learn about the state. I've done that in a lot of districts around the state, but not with you. And so
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it gives me a chance to practice my really bad Spanish too. So
Hey,
we can,
tienes que practicarlo, ¿eh? Tienes que practicarlo,
siempre,
porque ya verás. You never know. You never know. But I just really appreciate that, Tobias, from hearing from you, and just spending this night with me. And I do have one last minute question that
sure,
was submitted.
sure.
Um, and so this is from Susie. Susie, I hope I'm spelling it or saying it correctly, from Wasco County. And it's kind of long, so if you need me to repeat it, I'll repeat it
Okay,
again. But
okay.
she sent in and said, why do statewide candidates act like rural Dems don't exist? Even the candidate who likes to talk about growing up out here has done no serious outreach. The only Dem candidate who takes our concerns seriously is Jamie McLeod Skinner. We rarely get any policy in return for our votes that works for us, which means a lot of rural Dems don't bother to vote in races like yours. What have you done the last 4 years, and what are you doing now besides talking points to really address rural issues? I said it was long.
It is. Yeah, that's a perfectly fine question. Well, I've worked really hard over 4 years to do something significant in terms of an experience in every county in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think, I don't know if we're going to get to every county, but I've shown up electronically
Mm-hmm.
in well over half of the county party meetings in the last several months. Uh, and some of these policies that we talked about already, college savings, retirement savings, are really specifically aimed at rural communities. The Oregon Growth Board is another example of that I worked on a lot as a legislator, and I continue to serve on as state treasurer, that's aimed at economic development in rural parts of the state. So part of it is, what are our what are the responsibilities and authorities we have in our respective roles as treasurer. These are pieces. We talked at some length about the local government investment pool that allows local governments to participate with others and with state agencies to generate better returns for their own funds and increase their ability to serve their constituents. So, I think the answer. And by the way, I was on an extended conversation with Jamie McLeod Skinner last week, talking about a lot of these same issues, and I think you were there as well. So
yes.
So I'm looking for these opportunities, and I think part of it, Susie, is we don't know everything, and it connects to sort of what I was saying before. We need your help in identifying and helping us find those places where we can plug in. This is another place where I'm sometimes envious of the governor, where she can just say, I'm coming to whatever county, and everybody will open up their doors and say, come see this, come do this. We're calling her out. I'm the state treasurer. You're what?
Who are you again?
Why would you want to do that? Because that's part of my job, and I want to learn the community, and I want to know. So help us find the right places to plug in and to learn stuff. I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'd love that. And especially at a time like this, when in fact, we have next week, we're doing we're going to try to do a virtual statewide tour in some places. So we might have a little capacity for that. So Susie, send us an email. Send me an email, and maybe there's a way to connect in your part of the state.
Yeah, no, and I will send her your email information, so that way she can connect with you. And so that's way, because I think it's so important that rural voices are at the table.
And it's a two-way conversation. Yes. We have to be open to hearing that, but there's a lot we don't know. So please don't assume, this is not aimed just at you, Susie, but anyone, please don't assume that it's intentional on our part. It may well be lack of knowledge and a lack of certainty about how to proceed or where to start. So help us out.
Yeah, especially I think when bills are being drafted, or something that it's going to impact just having, or anything, with dealing with the treasurer, that it's important that you do come and reach out to us, because, it's, how else are we going to know, or how else are you going to know what we need and what our concerns are? So I think that's very important. That's out to all candidates who are running for statewide races. It's so important to come and talk to us. And that's why I'm so appreciative that you took the time to have this conversation with me. And I think I did see one more question on the chat. Sure. And so I have my chat open in my phone, and I have the other screen. Let's see here. Sure. So someone said, Keith from Albany said, is your employer supposed to give you the information about your account? So if they have the Oregon Saves, he has indicated that how hard is it for an employer to sign up for Oregon Saves? My employer doesn't have a retirement savings plan, and I don't understand the barrier. So if an employer doesn't have it, what can they do?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So when we passed this law, we gave the board the authority to operate, to roll it out over time. So eventually all businesses are going to be required to facilitate, but we started with large employers, and then we've added, based on a schedule, smaller and smaller employers. So depending on the size of Keith's employer, that employer may not be required yet to facilitate, but every employer can comply early. They could come in. And we've had thousands of businesses do that because it's in their interest. There are a lot of employers who want to offer a retirement plan for their employees, but they don't have the resources. Or as there's a restaurateur in our neighborhood who says it really well. There's this great sandwich shop. He says, I don't have an HR department. I got sandwiches to make. So he views it as a real positive. So those businesses can do that, and you can certainly let your employer know about it. There's no financial cost to them. The only cost is the time of setting it up, and it's a couple of a few minutes each pay period to do it. But even if the employer doesn't want to do that, individual people can enroll themselves through their own checking or savings account, and you could set up an auto draw that goes right into that IRA. So OregonSaves.com.
Okay, perfect. So now hopefully Keith is there so he can hear. If not, he can always rewind. But I will let him know that we did answer his question. Is there, what's the website for that one? So this way we can share that too.
Yep, OregonSaves.com.
All right, easy peasy. Oregon Saves.
And I'm clicking it to see if I need to add that to the translation agenda too.
Oh, you know I'm going in there too.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
Okay, it's in Spanish.
I'm now clicking on it. There are 3 links in the middle of the screen, and under the left one, ver en español.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's just the video that's in Spanish.
Oh, that's just the video. Yes. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me see here, because it needs to be easily clickable. You know, that's one thing. It needs to be up in the front on the top, ver en español, not hidden somewhere, because then we can't find it.
That one just refers to the video.
Video. Okay, so that's one to definitely put on the list then.
Yep.
All right. This is great. No, this is why we're doing this. We're going through and looking at things that need to change because we want to be inclusive and making sure that we get to all communities and outreach to them. But I think that's all the questions that I have. I mean, this was great. I mean, we did go a little bit longer because it was, again, I apologize. This would be the last time I say. I'm so sorry. I thought we were live, but for some reason my link didn't work and we're here.
Marian, I got one question for you before we end up. Actually, maybe 2. What has been the best part of being a candidate so far for you?
The best part has been getting to actually talk to people, you know, that I didn't think I was able to, like you, reach out to other state representatives, you know, being at the table. I think that is definitely something that I enjoy, having conversations and bringing awareness and that outreach that I feel like I bring. You know, I'm someone that's passionate about things and will let you know if I don't like something. That's why my husband gives me grief about it. He's like, you're so easy. You tell me what you want or you just go buy it. I'm like, I know. When I say I want something, I want something. But yeah, so what's your other question?
The other one I really like asking smart and interesting people these days. I feel like probably the hardest thing for any citizen of the world these days is to sort of curate your own information flow. Even if you can eliminate all the low quality stuff, there's too much for any one person to take in. So I want to know what the best thing that you have read or watched in COVID is.
Oh man, that's hard. The best thing?
Yeah. I mean, you could do a couple, but you know.
Okay, it has to be pre-COVID or post-COVID?
No. Just something you have watched or read during COVID. It doesn't matter when it's produced, but you know, what's the thing that you read or watched that you most enjoyed during COVID?
Okay. This is where my nerdy side comes in. Okay. So I rewatched it, The Mandalorian, the Child, and I'm totally obsessed with the Child. Okay, I'm a total nerd. So I'm such a nerd that I have a Tumblr that is the Child. And that's my go-to when I'm stressed. I turn on TV and especially Star Wars because I feel like we're in that part of the episode where, you know, we need hope again. And that's kind of what I look back on. I see myself as one of the rebels. So I think for me, I mean, that I seen, it would be just having that show. But also when I look at how we are doing this, I also see how we are all coming together and trying to help each other and be uplifted. You know, I feel like this is such a Miss Universe question. Like saying I want world peace, but really it's just the way that we are all coming together, and just I think it's really like it's making it easier for me to talk to you and communicate with you when otherwise I would have to probably wait months to be like, hey, I need to meet with Tobias. I want to ask him a question, you know. But now it's like, boom. I
Yeah.
know it's 9 o'clock, almost 10, well, 10 o'clock, but I think it's just making us come closer together and just really fight for what is right. Besides me being a nerd, that now everybody in the world knows. I
That's
don't hide
okay.
it.
That's okay. In our family, we say that the compliment. So it's
Oh,
all
heck yeah. Oh, my kids know. I mean, that's why I have this hidden because behind that, it's all of my Star Wars, Harry Potter gear. And it's like, I don't, you don't want to see that mess back there. It's like, it's going to collapse. I'm just going to
got
put
it.
it something, make it
Got it.
pretty.
Got it.
Um, but yeah, no, thank you so much,
My
Tobias. I
pleasure.
greatly appreciate. And again, this is the last time I apologize. I know I said that, but you know, if I would love to have another one, another conversation.
But
Hopefully not so late, so we can, you know, maybe on a weekend, Friday or something, where we
we'll
can
figure it
bring
out.
our beverages. We'll figure it out.
You know where
But
to
just
find me.
I. Oh heck yeah! Now I have your contact info, so
Yeah, yeah.
now I will call you up. But yes, I just wanted to say thank you so much for doing this. And, you know, I know that you are someone that, you know, that I appreciate that. And I will always remember that you did take the time
Of course.
to have this conversation with me. So thank you. For
Thank you
those
for
of
the
you that are
invitation.
watching and haven't voted yet, and live in Albany, hey, there's two people right here, Tobias and myself. Mark your ballots, turn them in, drop off box, you name it. Okay.
Vote
Cast your
early and
vote.
volunteer often.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. And you can go to your website, right, Tobias?
Yeah.
It's tobiasreed.com.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yes. So check him out. And again, my website is miriamgcummins.com. And so, yeah, let us know what you think and to vote. Vote, vote, vote.
Absolutely.
I'm wearing my
Thanks,
vote
Brandon.
shirt. Vote. All right, Tobias, thank you so much. Good night. Buenas
Buenas
noches.
noches.
Cuídate.
Adiós.
Hasta luego.
Hasta
Adios.
luego.